Let's talk Tanya for the 21st of Elul of a leap year. Today we start a new letter in Igar Sakodesh, chapter 17. Also a letter on the topic of tzedakah, and more importantly, why giving tzedakah is so critical in order to bring the redemption, to bring Mashiach. The Alter Rebbe introduces a pasuk from Tehillim, from chapter 119, where David HaMelech says, L'chol tichla ra'isi kates rechava mitzvascha mi'od. Which, if you translate it very literally, it means L'chol tichla ra'isi kates, for every goal I've seen an end. Rechava mitzvascha mi'od, but your mitzvah is very wide. What does this mean? What does it mean? Rechava mitzvascha mi'od, your mitzvah is very wide. And actually, if you want to narrow it down, there is a question on each one of the words. Rechava, we say that Hashem's mitzvah is very wide. What does it mean wide? It should say gedola, your mitzvah is very great. Why would we be describing a mitzvah as wide? The next word, mitzvascha, your mitzvah. If we're talking about the mitzvahs, it should say it in the plural. Rechava mitzvaysecha mi'od. Your mitzvahs are very wide. And the third word, which is mi'od, is very. What is the word very adding over here? If we were to say, Rechava mitzvascha, your mitzvah is wide, what is the difference between just plain wide and very wide? The first question we're going to answer right now, actually the second question, the question of mitzvascha, your mitzvah in the singular, and the other two will answer as we move along in this chapter. When we talk about your mitzvah is a reference to tzedakah. Why is tzedakah Hashem's mitzvah? Because think about it. What mitzvah is Hashem doing constantly at every single moment? Hashem is giving tzedakah. There's the whole system of creation, the higher worlds, the lower worlds, and God is constantly infusing and giving us the energy that we need in all of our needs. So mitzvascha is Hashem's mitzvah. Hashem is constantly giving tzedakah. In the tzedakah that Hashem gives to creation, there are two different forms of tzedakah. And this is actually reflected in the fact that we say every single morning in davening, we say that there are certain mitzvahs such as tzedakah, which hakeran kayemas lo'olam haba, the principal reward remains for the world to come, after Mashiach comes, and the payros, the dividends, we enjoy that in this world. So when we give tzedakah, we cause Hashem to give tzedakah, but there are two different types of tzedakah that Hashem gives. There is the dividends and there is the principal. What are these two? So this is something that we've talked about in previous segments of Tanya, which is that there are two different forms and types of divine energy. There's Mamalakal element, a lower contracted form of energy, a finite energy which enters all the worlds and enters each world and every single creation on its terms. And then there is Soivakal element, the light which encompasses all the worlds, which although it is within the worlds, but ultimately it is a light which is infinite and above and beyond all the worlds. So, Mamalakal element, the lower level of light, is one form of tzedakah, and that is the godly energy that enters all the worlds at all times. That's one form of tzedakah. And when we give tzedakah today, that is the dividends that we enjoy over here in this world. But the primary tzedakah that God gives is something which doesn't appear today, and we can't experience today. We will experience that after Mashiach comes, and that is the higher tzedakah, the seivukal alma, the infinite light of God that will be revealed over here in this world when Mashiach comes. And this infinite light is so much greater than the lower form of contracted light. Think about it for a second. Even in Gan Eden, where the souls go after they pass on from this world, so over there, all that's revealed is Mamalakal element, is the lower finite light. And you have souls that have been in Gan Eden for thousands of years. And we know Gan Eden isn't static. We'll talk about this more also in later segments. In Gan Eden, the souls are in a constant state of ascendancy, always moving from one level to higher level to higher level. So souls that are in Gan Eden for 3,000 years, you can imagine how high the level of Gan Eden they're on. And nevertheless, when Mashiach comes, we're going to have the resurrection of the dead. They're going to come back down over here in this world. Why? Obviously, what's going to be over here when Mashiach comes is greater than whatever is in Gan Eden. And it's qualitatively greater. Because again, in Gan Eden is Mamalakal element, the lower finite level of God's light. When Mashiach comes, we'll have the ultimate tzedakah of God, which is the revelation of Seivukal element, that infinite light of God over here in this world. In tomorrow's Tanya, we are going to further analyze and discuss and explore that level of tzedakah, the higher level of tzedakah, and of the revelation of godliness we will experience after the resurrection of the dead.